So I'm heading out this morning to take the view camera into the forest. We had a nice rain last night, and hopefully the beautiful spring foliage is just going to be glowing, and it should be really nice in the forest, and I'm looking forward to it. Should have nice soft light and hopefully no wind, and it'll be fun to take the view camera out there and see if I can capture some beautiful spring foliage here in Northwest Florida. Well, I really hope this scene looks like I think it's going to this morning. I'm really eager to get down here and check it out. I can start to see it right now. It looks really good. The foliage is just glowing. I can't wait to get set up and try to capture this thing. So I'm all set up on my subject here, and in fact I've made my exposures already. I wanted to get that photography out of the way while the light was perfect, but I'm set up on this beautiful spring scene today, and what I really like about this is at this time of year in the spring, this foliage is bright green as it's just leafing out, and it really stands out so well against the dark forest behind it. And so, and it's a sort of a nice dynamic shape to that little tree that's got this foliage on it. And there's also some curving trees in it, so there's a lot of movement in the image, which is a really nice thing to have, I think. And so I really like this subject, and I'm excited to have photographed it. I did use both Provia and Velvia, and I did it with and without a polarizer, both films, so we'll see how that works out. And I was able to, even with the Velvia, with a polarizer, it really drives the ISO down, but I was able to find enough calm places in the wind, and so without wind, and it was nice to be able to capture that. Now, one thing I'm doing here with the view camera is I'm looking downhill a little bit. This subject kind of runs downhill, and so I have to tip the camera down to frame the subject the way I want it. Well, when you do that, the trees tend to converge. And so I don't want that, I want them to be parallel. So with the view camera, I have been able to lower the lens standard and raise the back standard, which effectively makes the camera look down without actually pointing the camera down. And so it allows those trees to remain parallel. And that is one of the really nice things about having a view camera and the perspective correcting controls that you can use. So I also used a 200 millimeter lens and a 135. Now the 200 really frames the subject exactly the way I wanted it, but it's also pretty tricky with depth of field there, and I really wanted to try to have everything sharp front to back, although I might have to sacrifice sharpness at the very back of the forest if necessary. But that's why I also tried it with the 135. You get a little bit better depth of field. Of course, it's wider, and I'll have to plan on cropping, but that's okay with the 4x5. There's plenty of resolution there. And also, that 135 gave me a nice wider view. I wasn't really expecting this, but I think I might be able to carve a nice pano out of it. So we'll see how that works as well. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening with the image today. and I'm really happy to have gotten this now. And of course, now it'll be the long, exciting wait for the film to come back from the lab. But anyway, hopefully we got good images. Now it's time to pack up and head on home. I originally found this subject and photographed it in 2018 with my Pentax medium format digital system. The picture turned out well enough, but I overpolarized it, which removed too much of the variation in the leaves. So when I started using the view camera again last year, I wanted to try to capture it with film. But the conditions I needed, the foliage at peak with recent rain, just didn't work out. So I was thrilled to find everything aligning this year to make it happen. I was lucky that the scene didn't change in other ways, which so often happens, and that it's a close-to-home location where I could time my visit when conditions were ideal. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little trip to the local forest today, capturing this beautiful spring scene. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel and giving me a thumbs up on this video and ringing that little notification bell. And boy, I just walked through a spider web. That's real life. So I really appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you on the next one.